Would you look at this? Would you look at this? Let's get this popping from the jump. Grant Horvat isn't ungrateful for turning down the invite to play in the PGA Tour event. And if you think that way, you're part of the problem. Let me explain. What up, sneakerheads and golf friends? Jacques Slade here. If you're not following the golf world, you may not be aware of the situation where a YouTube golfer was invited to play in a professional tournament. However, he rejected the invitation because he wasn't going to be able to create content around the event in the way that he normally creates content. Now, that in itself is not a problem, and I don't take issue with that. Well, a little bit, but that's for another conversation with the PGA Tour. However, what I do take issue with is the amount of grown men that are clutching their pearls and that are offended, my lord, because he would have the audacity to turn down the PGA Tour. It honestly feels like the same folks that have a problem with Jason Day when he gets a fit off that doesn't adhere to your dated fashion and sense of entitlement. Instead of being confrontational, though, maybe I can help you understand. In the words of Sean Carter, Grant is not a businessman. He's a businessman. Now, that may be something that you don't understand. Coming from the player perspective, you work to get to the PGA Tour, and that's how they become financially secure. Grant is already financially secure. He doesn't need to get on the PGA Tour in order to make money in the way that you traditionally see the process work. Barracuda and the PGA Tour invited Grant because they want to exploit his image and his following. Because Grant and his team are smart enough to understand the workings of his image and the workings of his brand, they know that they bring a value to the tournament that they are not going to get in return if they are not able to exploit the same event. The bigger issue here is that traditional television and traditional brands operate in a certain way. That way no longer applies to this new generation that has cultivated their own IP and brand and image that happens outside of the traditional funnel of broadcasting and sports entertainment. The reverence and the weight that you give to these traditional entities no longer apply to these millennials, as you like to call them, that you're so fed up with because they found ways to generate and monetize their perspectives outside of the traditional hierarchy. That is why Grant decided not to play. It's not because he's ungrateful, it's not because he's undeserving, and it's not because of anything else that you can make up in your mind as to why he's not playing and you would. It's because he recognizes his value and his worth, and he is unwavering in how his brand is used. And the final thing, I see a lot of comments about, oh, well, he could have changed his format and did this, and he could have changed his format and did that. Why does he have to change, but the entity that it is exploiting him doesn't need to change? Both places need to compromise. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Congrats to Grant on everything that you're doing. PGA Tour, love the growth and the way that you're evolving. Let's keep moving in that direction because there's a lot of opportunity there. Let's keep building so situations like this don't happen.